Good evening. Welcome to Military Strategies. We're live now. January 20th, 2026, January 19th, 2026, in Latam. A world ahead of another by hours, but that comes together again. The fate of Venezuela and Iran is once again united. Pay attention to this, family. The dictatorial regime of Iran has asked Venezuela to send it something very important. Something that in the coming days could make a difference. The line between life and death. By the United States Navy and Air Force. Everything is being prepared, everything is coming together, the pieces are falling into place, and the decisive moment is approaching. This goes beyond Iran, beyond Israel. The United States, Russia, and China are also watching what will happen in the coming days. Family, your likes, your comments, this is Military Strategies. Let's begin. Good evening, family. Welcome to Military Strategies, live now for the global Spanish-speaking community. Don't miss the live stream we have tonight. Don't miss what's going to happen, what's going to take place here on your information channel, on the channel that tells you what no one else does, but then ends up happening anyway. Are these coincidences in life, or do they happen because we do our homework daily? There's going to be a war with Iran soon. Very soon. Israel is already getting ready. The United States is getting ready, but Iran is also getting ready. It's gotten to the point where the Iranian regime has asked Venezuela for a favor. And you might say, are you crazy? Are you crazy? What is Iran going to ask Venezuela for? What could Venezuela give to Iran? Well, you're going to find out tonight. On Military Strategies, all the details, everything that's happening, the situation. We're going to look at air movements. We're going to look at military capabilities. We're going to see what's happening right now because things are happening in the Persian Gulf. We'll also discuss recent international news from the past 48 hours. We haven't covered it yet, so we need to take this opportunity. So I invite you to stay on this channel, your channel, the Military Strategies Information Channel, because it's worth seeing what you can see here and not anywhere else. Well, needless to say, likes, comments, and super chat goals are open for you to contribute. I welcome you here to your home. Pay attention to this. Let's put on some music right now, too. It's gonna get crazy. In the country of the desert mountains. Notice that there are things Venezuela and Iran share. Large oil reserves, both are producers, both have similar interests and policies, and they are repressive dictatorships against their populations. The videos we've been watching that have been coming in now are absolutely crazy, by the way, footage that came in and is really impressive. Pay attention to this. What you're hearing is the way the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian army, the Ayatollahs do things. And all this mental rabble is to repress citizens, free people who are protesting for freedom. With machine guns, with automatic weapons, with snipers, ending the lives of each one of them. The images are horrific. I can't show them all because in some you see confused people, tourniquets, and a series of first aid measures. And many have died. Many have died. But notice that this being of light, he has given an ultimatum to everyone who has protested. He responded to all protests with an ultimatum, telling them to surrender now before it's too late, and that the punishment will be swift. That is, if they surrender, their life will end quickly. If they don't surrender, it will be much more painful. It's amazing.
God willing, we'll capture them, so the men...
I don't understand Farsi either, but the translation is out there. It's circulating, and it's amazing. Another person who is also quite clear about this story is a man named Netanyahu.
If Iran makes a mistake and attacks us,
we will
use force like Iran has never seen.
We will strike with force like Iran has never seen.
No one can foresee what might happen in Iran.
He says no one can predict Iran's future.
One thing is clear, Iran won't return to its previous state no matter what happens.
But what we do know is that Iran will never be what it once was again. Is Bibi referring to what's circulating on social media about Iran possibly launching a salvo of 700 ballistic missiles against Israel?
As for the Gaza Strip, we are on the verge of Phase 2 of President Trump's election.
He says to ask you about Gaza. We're about to enter Phase 2 now.
Trump's plan.
According to Trump's plan.
The Israel Defense Forces, as I recall, holds 53% of Israel's territory.
It has 53% of Gaza's territory under its control. As a strip...
What is Phase B, everyone asks?
Part 2 of the agreement says...
Phase B. Phase B means one simple thing.
It says Phase number B or Phase 2, A, B, C, B, which is 2 means only one thing.
It will never be... armed and Gaza will be demilitarized.
And Gaza will be disarmed.
We are sticking to these goals.
He says, we stick to this goal. We are convinced of this goal.
And they will be achieved.
And it will be achieved.
To be achieved, as President Trump said, and I also said either...
He says, this is the goal I and President Trump have stated. Interesting? Thanks to our friends from Guarimba for the raid. Gaston and Mark, I haven't seen you in a while. I miss you both. We're both working on our channels to bring a bit of light to this world of shadows. I recommend you go check them out as well. Eduardo Minoni is also in the chat and will have a live stream later, so we'll stop by to say hi. Here, I'm going to tell you, the attack is going to happen. I don't know exactly when, but I think it will happen next week. Or sometime this week. Sabah, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We could be circulating some aspects around that time. And there's breaking news, pay attention to this. Yes, there is breaking news because Iran has received some things it shouldn't have received. In the last few hours, planes from China have unloaded material in Iran. People suspect, say, talk and report that it could be air defense systems advanced against the United States and Israel. Specifically, they talk about a system, the HQ-9B. Now, we'll talk about this. We'll share these details and this story. There it is. The mountains of Iran, that labyrinth, the coasts, that sinister place. There's another important point What is the Iranian Navy going to do? They are going to launch an attack in the Persian Gulf. Will the United States have to sink them, or what will they do? Amazing. We see the weapons catalog, including new frigates and anti-aircraft defense systems, all recently unveiled. I'm not saying we should be afraid. Some small pocket-sized submarines are designed to attack civilian ships instead of military ones. Their capacity is very limited, but they can cause damage if they start launching cruise missiles at oil tankers now. The Persian Gulf is going to become the Black Gulf. The Black Sea is going to change its name. Where is it? It's going to move to the Persian Gulf because it's going to be filled with oil. It's a complicated issue. It's actually quite a complicated issue because obviously Iran's going to kill. It's going to die killing. What have they requested from Venezuela? People want to see strategies here. How is this related to Venezuela? All right. Let's get to it. For the past 4 months, since October, the United States of America has been conducting military operations in the Caribbean Sea, mostly air operations. Operations near the coast of Venezuela.
No.
China and Iran sent air defense systems or collaborated with operators or training in air defense systems. And now they're asking for payback. And what is payback?
Oh.
Nothing more or less. Iran has also asked Venezuela internally to send them copies of the radar signatures. Interference, radar signals, and all detections from the past 4 months. To understand how the United States Air Force works, its advanced electronic warfare systems, and to try to set up, together with the help of the Chinese, some kind of filtering system, something that allows them to identify how, when, and in what way. Will Donald Trump's planes come to cut off the head of the snake? The radar signature detected for months by Venezuela is now the object of desire for the Ayatollahs in Iran. Amazing. Chinese defense systems are arriving in Iran, and the window is closing. You might also say, well, what does this change? Does it change the story? No, honestly, it doesn't really change the story much. Let's be honest about this. Despite what you might read on many channels, in many stories, and in many places, one thing is clear. I'll show it here so people understand. By the way, I have a breaking news update from Venezuela right now. You'll see it later. Russia has sent something to Venezuela, and now you'll understand what I'm referring to, and it's related to this. Also, well, let's see. Let's look for it around here. The result won't change much because China sent air defense systems to Iran. Why? Implement new air defense systems? It takes time, training, crews that are educated and instructed in the use of those new systems, placement, and deployment. And they still suffer from the same problem that everyone suffers from. All these systems sent by Zhongguo have and need a radar to operate, right? The United States will take 3 minutes to detect where the radar is using satellite images. With what's happening right now while we're talking, they're going to know it. Right now, while we're talking, there are drones on the border with Iran detecting radar frequencies. Geolocating. That's happening. Let's see. Let's see it over here. Excuse me. I'm going to close this so we can all see it clearly. There we go. We open the map and this spot works for us. All right. About the flights, what happened in the last few hours? F-15S have arrived in the area of operations. They crossed from the United States, passed through the United Kingdom, and have already reached the area of Jordan. In the southern area of Jordan, near Aqaba, in this area, there is a King Hussein military base where all those planes are gathering. The approximate number of F-15 planes exceeds 30. More than 30 F-15 planes may have arrived. But of course, is this enough? Are they enough? Let's look at the photograph, and from there we'll take note of what could happen. Photograph of the number of air forces accumulating in the region at this moment. There could be approximately. We can see it here. Look, 35 F-15E version aircraft. We can see it there. A command center has been established in Crete to coordinate all those ongoing operations. The C-17S also operating in those shipments day and night. For example, there we see one. This happened in the last 24 hours. Where is he going? Check which base he's going to. Jordan. We're seeing him there. And there's something curious that stands out with all this. United States. It is avoiding flying over Israeli airspace to bring all the troops to Jordan. Why? Why is this? He doesn't want to give Iran any reason to attack Israel. Israel is unlikely to get involved in the first minute of the operation against Iran. It could stay behind, waiting for Iran to launch the attack. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for them to make all that detour. Outside Israel's airspace, a United States ally, and that, in theory, it wouldn't take much to make the situation more comfortable and bring those troops there. However, other planes we don't see are still arriving in Israel. And they are most likely the planes with advanced anti-air defense systems that would be arriving right now to provide security to Israel. Of course, it's also like we see those planes that have unloaded returning again. They're making their delivery corridor back and forth. Thank you for the United Kingdom. What was happening? What was going on over there? Well, more of the same. Planes, tankers have been moving. They've been arriving from bases in Germany. They've been moving troops. They've been moving, as I said, tanker planes from the United States of America. Look here. This one, for example, just crossed the pond, and right behind it, there were more transport planes coming. All of them, look. All these tankers crossing the pond here are carrying fighter jets with them. And all of them, I insist, all of them are carrying a significant combat force. We're seeing it right there. To remove any doubts about this, it's likely that the attack will happen soon. Yes, it's likely, quite likely, actually. I mean, what do you all think is going to happen? What do you all think is going to happen? Let's go to the comments. Now we have the latest breaking news from Venezuela connecting with this story.
Yeah.
What do you think will happen? Thank you so much to Maria who sent us a super chat. Thank you very much for your support of the channel. With military strategies, you've sent us more than one. You've sent us several. Thank you so much, Miguel. Thank you so much, Jose. Thank you, Judy. Greetings from Houston. Thank you so much, Judy. 14 months already with us. 14 months.
Cheers.
Marcella, thank you so much. Thank you.
Andrea.
Andrea? What do you have to say here, Andrea? We'll see it now. Of course, it's just that the story is more complex than we thought. The United States has told them, or Israel has told them, that they can absorb a launch of 700 missiles. What could happen after the 700? What could happen? What could occur? That's the question. Why does it cost to send her to the Yada Lab, and what is the price? Anna, thanks so much for the super chat. And Andrea? Iran desperate, asked Chilindrina for help. Of course, look, radar information is something that's highly valued. And detecting frequencies, approach mechanisms,
Nación.
the way they work, all of this is taken very seriously. Greetings to Estrategius from Tecate, Mexico. Thank you very much for that greeting. Of course, these stories that seem so easy to us here really aren't that easy. That's why Israel told the United States to stop. Let's get ready properly. Let's prepare the air defense system. Let's bring in weapon systems. And from there, we're going to work together on the issue of Iran. That's the key to the story. That's where all the mystery is, a mystery that has yet to be solved. All right. We have to stay alert, and this is also important. We have to be very attentive. Yes. In the coming days. Is any aircraft carrier crossing the Strait of Gibraltar? Officially, there are doubts that a second aircraft carrier could have been sent.
Extraoficialmente.
Unofficially, it could happen that a second aircraft carrier is heading to the Mediterranean area. Would it make sense? In the previous deployment during Operation Midnight Hammer, there were 2 aircraft carriers available for combat. There's something else people are paying a lot of attention to, the Diego Garcia base. How significant will Diego Garcia be in this story? The world thinks that if nothing happens at Diego Garcia, everything is fine. There won't be an attack and Iran will be safe. Well, it's a paradise. Diego Garcia, I haven't been there. I don't think I'll ever go, but it's an important base, a very important one. The only difference is the following. In Operation Midnight Hammer, the Diego Garcia base was not used. At 5,000 kilometers from Iran, moreover, a very different route was chosen. Diego Garcia was bypassed, and they went directly through the Mediterranean. The B-2S that destroyed Fordo crossed the entire Mediterranean, flew over Israel, and entered Iran where no one expected them to. So why does the United States want to use Diego Garcia nowadays? I highly doubt it. Besides, it doesn't make much sense to launch an operation from Diego Garcia. Based on all the aerial refueling capability that the United States has in the region, it doesn't make sense. But what would make sense? This we have seen, is that there would be in-flight refueling capability in other places. Ares. Let's enlarge the map since people say it's hard to see. Let's take a look at this. Let's see. There is a United States of America air base that could be key. Let's take a look at it. It's the Lajes Air Base. Let's look for it there. And here it is. Lajes Air Base. Here. What we should look for in satellite images is whether any aerial refueling planes have arrived there in the last few hours. That could be the key. In Lajes? This island in Portugal's Azores archipelago is in the middle of the Atlantic, in the area we see here. Lajes. All right? Let's go take a look at something. Let's see if we're lucky. I'm going to try to see the latest updated satellite image. We're not going to be lucky. It's full of clouds. Full of clouds. Unfortunately, the last image from the 12th doesn't let us see what's happening down here. From here, the refueling planes took off. The last time for the B-2S in a surprise operation where everyone is watching to see when they're going to take off. Maybe everything would start little by little, moving some planes from one place to another. Venezuela's story is interesting. Why? During B-52 operations in the Caribbean Sea, on some of the flights, did they cover the same distance in kilometers as to Oman? What do I mean? by this? B-52 bomber planes took off almost from the Canadian border from this base. What's going on? And they went all the way to Venezuela? Why from that base? What for? Why make a trip of more than 5,000 kilometers when there are airplanes? B-52s in Texas and Oklahoma in the southern United States? What for? Because they were practicing an operation with a much greater range beyond the Caribbean Sea. Everything is starting to make sense in this story, but pay attention to this. Russia has sent a ship to the Caribbean Sea. What you're hearing, what you're listening to, and it's not just any ship. It's not. Pay attention to this. Photo of the Russian ship sent. It's a spy ship. There it is. That ship you're seeing, supposedly harmless, is a ship used to tap communications, detect communication systems, and radio frequency. Where is it right now? Right where you're seeing it? Nearly between Suriname and Guyana? It's over there with its antennas, with its radars, taking notes, also learning from what's happening with the United States of America in the region. See it? Information is power. These things are happening now. The ship Academic, the Russian spy ship in the Caribbean Sea. Incredible. That's how it is. Where's the aircraft carrier? Where is the aircraft carrier that's speeding toward the Persian Gulf? The aircraft carrier, Lincoln, has crossed the Strait of Malacca. There are people who have been able to see it. The Strait of Malacca. We have the photograph. The bats have been spotted in the Strait of Malacca. Photograph those who are weaving. Military, family, family. The aircraft carrier? There it is. The deck packed full of F-35SL. Carrier version B, vertical takeoff and landing capability. Vertical takeoff. Ready. Will any pilots targeting the Ayatollah be there? Maybe it could be. Awesome. Really, really awesome. Family, we're still live. Military strategies. Please, your likes are super important. We're close to 20,000 people watching what's going to happen, what's coming next. I'd like to briefly address Venezuela. I want to show you a video that people aren't going to like, people aren't going to enjoy in any way. By the way, before we watch that video, let's have a little laugh.
I'm in the south of the state of military strategies number 8, where we have a critical point, the mountain. Come on, we're almost there.
We use this tactical revolutionary resistance to defend Venezuela's peace.
This is amazing. This is amazing. Ha! This is incredible. They spent months and months publishing all this garbage, and then in one night they take Maduro away from them. By the way, Maduro is not happy with the latest news I've received. He's not very happy after finding out that he's been betrayed. He's not happy. Did someone or something tell him that he was betrayed? Just so you know. But another one who keeps roaming freely? Granco Arteaga is near Venezuela. Alexander Granco Arteaga is roaming freely around Venezuela. He was recently seen in a video. We'll show it here so you can see. He has a new weapon. I don't know where he got this rifle from now. It seems like he's a rifle collector, and now he has a new weapon. We'll show it to you here in military strategy so you can see. There is Granco Arteaga, the butcher, the most feared man, the head of military counterintelligence, walking around the Miraflores area, giving instructions. Some things in Venezuela remain unchanged. Even though it's true that there have been changes, for example, the director of Conviasa has been replaced, the general who was the director of Conviasa has been replaced. I mean, he's been removed because we don't even know where he is, if he might have even escaped from Venezuela. This is also another theory that's being talked about, that he might have escaped. What you're hearing is that there might already be some defections within the regime. This could have happened. These kinds of things could have been happening. All right? The other day, at the airport last night or 2 nights ago, the airport lights went out for a while. At 10 at night, gunshots were heard at the airport. And a plane took off. We don't know if General Ramon Celestino Velasquez was on board any of the planes that escaped, but he has been replaced by Air Force General Aníbal Rajoy. Pellerin, he is now the head of Conviasa. That clear, thank you. What will happen in Venezuela now? Well, are the United States of America going to have total control over the oil? And if they're not going to let Delcy do business with China, Russia, and Iran, where is she going to go now to do business? Well, pay attention. With this, the CIA people, Delcy, are now going to boost gold extraction from the mines. Well, that's what she likes the most. Suitcases full of gold are once again circulating throughout Venezuela and the whole world. Now, she says that the gold is going to go to the people of Venezuela. She says that gold and strategic mineral production will increase to encourage the generation of foreign currency in the nation. Let's listen to her. To Betty LaFea.
Let's see Venezuela's effort for recovery and economic stability. We were working on these plans, you know, Hector, we were working on them with President Maduro last year. A gold plan to increase gold production, to increase iron production, bauxite, and minerals. They are strategic for the industrial development of Venezuela and also for generating foreign currency for our country. Today we have important steps, and I want to start by connecting with the state. Lara, well, the state where my father and my mother were born, Venezuelan teachers. And there we were reactivating a steel plant, the National Steel Complex Paquisimel Steel Plant. It's important to highlight this. What in the past was wealth for the oligarchies, today is wealth for the Venezuelan people. They are our natural resources for the Venezuelan people, for their well-being.
Joint work for the well-being of the Venezuelan people, they say. Their well-being might mean they all leave. Do you think they're going to end up in exile? I don't know, in some nearby country, Panama, for example. An option could be Panama. By the way, speaking of things that were arriving, that were happening in the Middle East, here we go from one thing to another again. Also to the Middle East, this is arriving, breaking right now. Fighter jets from the United Kingdom there we see the typhoons arriving as well. Sparta 14.
Wait.
And Sparta 13 joining the deployment. Look.
They say nothing is going to happen.
We're back with Betty LaFea. Excuse me, Betty, are you here? I've recently asked several Venezuelans, hey, what do you think about this? And they say, well, it's kind of 50%. Let's see what happens now. What's going on now? Political prisoners who are still in jail. Not all of us have been released. Everyone needs to be released immediately. It's not being done. Subtitled, those releases are not happening. Not everyone is being released. Unfortunately, no. I wish those releases were happening quickly, but they're not. Everything is yet to be decided. Everything is yet to be decided. By the way, regarding the last two programs we've done about the catastrophic accident in Spain, the train, according to what is being suggested, there could be a break or damage in the track, in the rail of the track, that could have caused this whole accident. The causes are not confirmed yet. Is there suspicion, or do investigators suspect that this could be the reason? I keep saying, insisting on this, that a professional job is being done by the civil guard. And that politicians should stop lying and start telling the truth about the reality of the railway infrastructure in Spain.
Yeah.
They should do it. They're not going to do it, but they should, and if they don't, someone else will eventually say it. Has rail transport in Spain now become a risky means of transportation?
Yeah.
Trains that keep bouncing. Infrastructure. Poorly maintained infrastructure. And in the end, well, these things happen. I think there were about 43 deaths. Let's hope there aren't any more. We wish there aren't any more. But my fellow countrymen don't seem to have enough reasons to go out and protest. Thank you. It seems that I don't remember at the time when on March 11 people went out to the streets to ask, who was it? I would like to know who did it. If they're going to blame the welder, the crane operator, the one who made the rail, The site manager. What else? I'm curious to know. Let's see. Who are they going to drag into this story this time? Someone will get dragged in, that's for sure. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt. How is the airspace right now in the Persian Gulf? No, look over here. We have the drone. There it is. It's an MQ-4, a Triton, like the ones that have been used in Venezuela. It's doing something clear. Scanning. The Strait of Hormuz looking for military targets. There's an area. There's a new area created by Iran, which is important.
Ante.
This it was built fairly recently in the Haas area. Abazi. Important? Let's look for it around here. An important base. Where there could be ships under tunnels. Yes, that's what you're hearing. Ships under tunnels. It's really crazy, but it could happen here. This area we're about to see is exactly where the drone is currently pointing its cameras. This is Haas. The Ghost Fleet. Not all of them are oil tankers, my friends. This is the Ghost Fleet that carries weapons to Yemen, to the Houthis. They look innocent. Fishing boats. Don't be fooled. They're not fishing boats. They're not there to fish. They're there to transport weapons to Yemen. In fact, they're mixed in with Iranian Navy ships. Those are the famous little boats that they take around there. And the famous speedboats, the same ones they sold to Venezuela, are also there. Well, here in Haas is an important place for the Iranian Navy and our invisible friend, because he flies at a high altitude. He could be there now, and he has been. Look at the line. Where is Haas? Haas side. He's been scanning the area. That's the port, one of the biggest smuggling points for Iran and the Revolutionary Guard, but it's not the only one. This area we see here has attracted a lot of interest for a long time. We've been talking about it for many years. It's the Revolutionary Guard's port. Unlike the other one, this one is managed exclusively by the Revolutionary Guard. From here, small ships and boats armed with anti-ship missiles could set out to try to close the Strait of Hormuz. The United States will surely destroy these facilities, the ones we're seeing right here, along with the entire Ghost Fleet. These people. Exclusive footage on military strategies. Family, thank you so much for being live with us. It was truly a pleasure. Have a very good night. Let's see tomorrow what happens, what destiny brings to our places. Greetings. See you in the next program.